The Spreadshot frame handcannons have not been around for long at all. At the time of making this video, actually less than a week. The first one being the Phoneutria Fera, a solar option with some previously shotgun exclusive perks such as 1-2 punch. But it turns out this is quite a lot less effective than on shotguns, providing only a 75% melee boost on proc compared to the previous 150%. Still though, for infinite ammo and other perks such as surrounded or incandescent, the Fera is a great choice overall. But then came the Aureus Neutralizer. This one is from trials and has some perk combinations which make the Fera look just exceptionally mid. Here's a full list side by side. I also managed to get this really nice roll from the Lighthouse chest. Being tier 5, it actually gave multiple options I wanted to try out. The main one being vorpal weapon with cascade point. The reason for this being lucky pants. When active, handcannons will deal up to 450% damage, but only for a short time, expiring after 6 seconds. And on top of that, to reach that 450%, 10 hits need to be landed, with each hit scaling up 45% at a time. So having this 20% bonus from vorpal as its a primary weapon, paired with the increased fire rate provided by cascade point, this will ensure I can actually easily mag dump within this 6-second time frame. Optimally for this, you will want a second handcannon. This is to build up the stacks as well as hit the crits required to proc cascade point. Agape being a great choice here. And then swap over to the Aureus to mag dump on max stacks just before the timer expires. The DPS for this simple rotation, considering only primary ammo was used, is incredible, reaching almost 1750 with 9059 total damage. This is hugely outperforming even heavy weapons, and you don't really need 2 handcannons, this just increases effectiveness. However, you probably still want a good heavy weapon with this because this combination does have a cooldown between uses. An easy way to proc cascade point is using a sniper. This will give the full 6 seconds of lucky pants to be used exclusively with Aureus. While the DPS isn't quite as good, it means you don't have to be running double primary. Though when double primary ends up being better DPS, then why not in this case? If I tried the same in reverse with the Fera, this time alongside a vorpal Warden's Law as a primer, you can see the damage difference. There's no vorpal, no cascade, so I used Frenzy as it's the only easy to activate damage perk, and the DPS came to 990 with 5615 total damage. It's still decent, but clearly worse. This could be improved in situations where surrounded is applicable, but would still come up short. And I promise just a few more firing range things and then I will share some other perks in actual gameplay, but this mod is kind of hilarious. During Arms Week there's volatile mods, one of which increases accuracy and fire rate while hip firing. Of course, just doing the same lucky pants rotation with this is simply better with a fire rate increase, which means you can actually mag dump the entire Agape and then spam shoot Aureus during the last second for a truly criminal amount of DPS. But this won't be around forever, with these mods only being here during Arms Week. When these mods aren't available, either use backup mag as you can dump 8 shots while Cascade is active, with the base mag being only 7. Or you could use Temporal Blast if you have a mag extending trait in column 2, which unfortunately I didn't roll. Now to move outside of a controlled environment and into gameplay where the enemies actually shoot back and you have more to consider. Here, vorpal Cascade is still great, especially since Cascade is also activated upon enemy defeats. So if you need to burst down a champion after taking out a few adds, you can do that, even without lucky pants. But another perk Aureus is using to mog the Fera is Trench Barrel. Following a melee hit gained 50% increased damage for 3 shots, and this one was not reduced in effectiveness like 1-2 punch. It's really good on builds with a lot of spammable melees. Skullfort Titan, Fealty Hunter, Morai Hunter, Lightning Surge Warlock, anything like that. If you are lucky enough you can also roll Grave Robber in column 3, which if weaving in charge melee options mean you will probably never have to reload. Or even a combination of Vorpal Weapon and Trench Barrel both together is really good, because these damage boosts will stack multiplicatively. Just from a gameplay perspective, this combination is simple and powerful. If you want to get activities completed quick by being aggressive, which I'm looking at solo ops or pinnacle ops grinders for this is very viable. Threat remover in column 3 is pretty good too. Just hit a target with the whole shot and you'll gain reload stability and handling. Rarely reload is the only thing holding this weapon back at times, so ways to mitigate that is ideal. Lucky Pants Hunters, you still probably have it the easiest if you just want to run Marksman's Dodge. This weapon being kinetic rather than solar has some benefits too. TechSec armor set will go insane with this. Breaking target shields is easier, and if you have a full set equipped, breaking these shields or defeating elite enemies will damage and disorientate all nearby enemies. Not to mention TechSec is also possibly the easiest armor set to get a hold of, as it drops from solo ops activities. Expanding out to the other perk options, as it is RNG what you may get, there are a few viable choices. Column 3 Threat Detector is kind of like Threat Remover, but passively activates when enemies are nearby, but does kind of come with a problem that after defeating enemies when you want to reload, these enemies will no longer be nearby. But in most cases still is fine to have. Proximity Power will improve your melee stat on each final blow up to 3 times. At this point you will have an additional 45 melee or 54 when enhanced. In column 4, 1-2 punch is still a really good choice even at reduced effectiveness, and is ideal in builds where your melee is the main source of damage rather than your weapons. Something like Grapple Hunter or Consecration Titan. Adagio I was actually quite interested in just to see if it could one-tap in PvP for a bit of a silly build, but it just doesn't. To give Phoneutria Fera a fair try, since I've just really been saying go with a Trials Handcannon instead all video, here is what it can do which the Aureus cannot. Column 3 is basically the same, nothing to see here, but column 4 you do have Surrounded, Frenzy and Incandescent. These are all perks which improve the weapon's effectiveness with no external setup or melee focus build needed. Surrounded may be the best of these, giving up to 44% damage increase when enhanced, and all you need is enemies nearby. Frenzy not only gives a 15% damage increase, but also removes the need to run a reload perk as it maxes out reload when active, and Incandescent is there for the solar synergy. Quite good here to be honest, because final blows are easy with this archetype, so spreading Scorch should not be a problem. Also for this season there is a solar focus in the artifact. Rapid precision hits or final blows can grant you Radiant via Fever and Chill. Then you can use Radiant Shrapnel to add extra explosives upon dealing damage while Radiant. Still though, the Lucky Pants Burst Down is what I'm most excited for in these Spreadshot Handcannons. And following that, just having a nice trench barrel or 1-2 punch setup would be good to have for sure. Thank you for watching.